and I'll get that out. So setup wise, subtle little change we made today. On the positive side, both swings in terms of being a bit too close and a bit too far from the ball, etc. You're swinging that golf club now underneath there, underneath nicely. Hence why the golf club now is coming back square, ball striking the screen. It's just going, as we can see, really, really high. I mean, that ball's now gone over the mountains, and when the camera sort of pans up to it, I mean, that's just 9-iron wedge kind of height, sort of launch angle. Okay, so coming off the club face, really, really high. And you're obviously going to be losing distance as a result of that. So I want to make sure your arms are hanging a little bit more down from the shoulders. We don't want to get too much kind of bend and pull up into the body, okay? I think when you stood further from the ball, it was such a small little amount. As we say, if we go back to the original setups here, it's such a small, I mean, you couldn't even see a difference between those two if you measured it really, but it's probably about that much further away. The thing is, it feels to you miles, and when you feel as though you're a long way from the ball, your instinct's going to be, oh, I've got to reach for that ball now. So a couple of shots, you did sort of throw the club a little bit further outside in sort of a reaction to where you feel, and catch the heel. Now, you felt that when you said, didn't you? So when you hit the heel of the golf club, it feels awkward. You go, okay, I was aware of that. So you know when you do that now, okay, it's because I've actually tried to reach out for where a golf ball isn't, and I'm catching it. What you can do, maybe at home or down a range, put a head cover on the outside there just to get that club face back to the golf ball in the middle. If you hit the head cover, you're going to get some feedback that you've gone too far on the outside, okay? But again, slightly further from the ball there. The good thing is now that club's working back, again, on line with the toes there, really good. On plane there, hands in front of your chest. Up the top of the backswing, really, really good there now, okay? Coming back down on a very similar line, same position here now. Good strike of the golf ball. And the launch now, because it's hitting the screen kind of more in the middle, that ball now is peaking at sort of the top of the mountain sort of height. For you, you're looking, if I don't know what range you go to, if it gives you the data on the screens or the sort of numbers on the machines there, but you're looking from a sort of 15-degree launch angle for you. Now, if you haven't got the numbers to confirm that, then fine. But I think you'll see a ball. If it only goes quite high, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I know it's too high.
You can see it's too high. If it's landing at kind of 130, 140 and catching off the top of the golf club, you know it. Another thing you can do just to get a real good indication of strike, get some foot spray or some pledge and just spray it on your driver and just hit some shots and see where the spread is. If it's getting to the top part of the driver, then you know you're probably going to be coming down too steep. We want to try and get it more into the middle part of the driver if we can, or the feeling to almost like the bottom part of the driver, because you're swinging shallower and more kind of on the way up with it as opposed to a bit choppy.
Pledge will do that with it. I've seen this sound.
Yeah, you can put pledge, foot spray. You can actually get to be fair, you can put masking tape or duct tape on the face. Just tape over the face of the driver, and you just get imprints on the golf club where you're striking the ball. And it's interesting to a lot of people. They're not really sure where they strike it sometimes. Yeah. And if you don't strike it in the middle of the golf club, your golf ball is going to have spin created off that incorrect strike or that off-centre strike. So that's going to affect how the ball's going to travel, and in terms of distance, obviously. So getting that distance from the ball, I think trying to build a sequence in there that starts off club down first. That's okay. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Get the club down first, almost before your feet have been set. See how much knee that to me I think is enough knee flex when you just sort of keep going down lower and lower and lower. Okay, you kind of there. It's even more so again. Yeah, and I think that's possibly you trying to push your hips back and almost like go into a deep squat. You want to just feel like you're doing this and just sort of just tipping forward over like a table kind of thing. So you're actually leaning forward this way, not kind of squatting your backside down. You said the phrase, I'll stick your backside out. Don't stick it down this way as you squat your knees forward, because then you'll get down to the ball too low. And then if you don't want the club to be sitting way up in the air, toe up, you're going to go, and then you bend your arm. So maybe a little bit less flex in those knees, just a little bit more tilt. So the spine angle's good. In terms of there, I think with the driver, the more you bend there, I mean, there's the want to go down lower, you see,
I know I do that back slam.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't mind that kind of movement to sort of try and get a bit of rhythm and kind of flow to the swing. It shows you're not standing the ball locked head, which is good, but if you're sort of just going and getting lower, I mean, we should be able to see kind of the shins of our legs there instead of the tongue of your shoes. I would say that the knees are possibly blocking out that view. So if I'm set up here now, like this, I can't see the tongue of my shoes or my shins. If I'm setting to the golf ball here now, I can see in front of my shins the whole lot over the golf ball. If I bend my knees too much this way,
the shins and the laces.
Shins and the laces, you should better see. Yeah, if you're bending the knees and sticking the hips backwards too much, then you're going to get very low. And then if you get too low, your arms are going to just compensate in, and that's when that sort of bending of the arms kind of comes in from there. Okay, so little bit taller there with the lower half maybe, but again, swing-wise, as I said, the movement of that club underneath the pane of glass there, like you said. And again, it's good to see that you had 20-plus shots that are going nice and straight, finding fairways. The more you can do this, the more repetitive that shot's going to be, the more fairways you're going to find. So
It's interesting, I don't tip over as much as I used to.
yeah, well, exactly, yeah. Making some good progress. Anyway,